This is the voice of the sound box at this point in time. Now, if we take a closer look at this, we will see that this is the voice of the sound box looked at from a particular point of view. I'm tapping on the top. The path of energies in the sound box is that the top becomes activated from the strings. This activates the air mass, which activates the back, which then in turn activates the air mass in the top. And the sound energies bounce back and forth. Some of that sound activity is released through the sound port, and others are bounced off the exterior surfaces. But there's a lot of bouncing around activity, and the back necessarily is involved in that. How do we know that? Well, the back now is damped out because it's lying on my knees. But if we lift this up and simply allow the back to contribute its voice, we can see that the character of that sound changes quite remarkably. This is a much more open, loud, sustaining, woody sound. So what we're hearing literally is the activity of the top and the back playing ping pong with the energy of my tapping. This is something that all guitars will do whether or not you want them to, unless they're filled with sand or plaster of Paris. But in that case, they're not going to be of much interest to anybody except maybe an interior decorator. So one way that I have found of illustrating the motions of the top and the back as a function of a driving energy is the following. This sophisticated and expensive device is a series of rubber bands and an iron weight on the bottom. The principles of physics that this can illustrate are that if this hand were to be the top and this rubber band the air mass and this mass the back, and usually the back is a heavier, denser, more massive wood than the face. So this example would be true to that. Now, the intelligent guitar maker will try to figure out how the top and the back will function in tandem, because it's the relationship of one to the other that will determine how successful an air pump you've made. We learned this experiment in high school physics, where if you have an arrangement like this, you could just, really drive the guitar top with a lot of energy, and it'll make very little difference to what the back is doing. It's mostly inert. But at the right frequency relationship, a rather small amount of drive from this end translates into considerable increase of efficiency in driving this member. This is what the guitar top and the guitar back do with each other. So it's incumbent on the maker to try to figure out what the resonance relationship of those plates ought to be to one another. Because if you miss it, then you'll get something that really wastes a lot of the energy. It's tricky. It takes years sometimes to zero in on that. But everybody who's serious about this will wind up going in this direction. Now, people like me, fortunately, find this actually interesting. It would be deadly boring to a lot of people. I wanted to illustrate one more thing with this guitar body. Now, this is a proto guitar. It's the sound box. We have yet to put the neck on it. But the top and the back, the two main acoustically active diaphragms, are in place, and they have been shaped and voiced so that, in my estimation, they do function in tandem. And I wanted to give you a sense of that by tapping on this. I hope we can capture this, and giving you a sense of the sustained quality of the tap. What you should hear in a better instrument, a more sensitive instrument, a more efficient air pump, is a sound that is live, sort of like a shout in a cave or an acoustically live room. There will be an echo. Ordinary guitars will just go thud, and that's fine because somebody will buy them and they'll be happy with them. But I'm hoping that this microphone can capture some of the live quality of this box. When I listen to this, I hear a sound that decays but doesn't disappear until about 1.5 seconds have elapsed. And I don't know if you can get that with this, but I hope you can. I'm hoping you can simply capture the sustain. And it's my estimation that this phenomenon can be, is allowed by the fact that the top and the back are both live. They're not massively overbuilt and are at a specific relationship of frequencies to one another. It's very interactive. For me, it's very much like making a stew and adding ingredients and keeping on tasting it. My particular method is to take the top down to a certain target stiffness. Most people work to a target thickness. That doesn't work because the same thickness of one material will translate into varying amounts of thickness in another, even though they're dimensionally the same. So I want to take all my tops down to the same thickness as a function of a deflection test. And then I will start to brace them. At first, the braces are far too massive, and I systematically and slowly reduce them while I listen. It's a very intimate activity, and you can't really watch TV while you do that. You have to pay attention to what's going on. I would find it difficult to put into words where I stop. Unless I were to take a detour and give you some more background.